Not really sure if I have any viewers today or not. I did not publish this very well. It's just kind of something I did on spur of the moment. But if anybody is watching, feel free to drop some comments about the look and feel of everything as to whether you feel like you can see everything comfortably or if things are too small or too big or too blurry or too whatever. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to go ahead and change this on OBS because I'm getting an error in the back end of YouTube and it's now showing my stream status as poor because of my resolution, which is interesting. I guess I'll just have to change it later and then, like I said in chat, test it again. I'll do a little bit of work on these vocals here, and then I guess I will go ahead and call it a day. I don't recall where I left off on this. I think I finished the first verse.
Instant communicate. Instant communication isn't fast enough for you.
It's interesting how it seems to be affecting these notes here despite being told to ignore them and add 0 correction.
Enough for you. Building homes made enough for you. Building homes made out of digits.
I think I need to turn off some of this reverb or something. Maybe it's the compression.
Enough for you. Building homes made out of digits. Enough for you. Building homes made.
Really not liking that section right here. It's another one where it's got the correction amount at 0, but it still seems to be doing something.
Enough for you. Building homes made out. Enough for you. Building homes made out of 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 digits. Building homes made out of digits. Digits, so do you. digits, who do you pay rent? Digits, who do you pay? Digits, who do you pay rent to? Digits, who do you pay rent to? Plans for a honey-rivered future. You pay rent to? Plans for a honey-rivered future. Rivered future. Rivered future.
I think I like that better the way it was before.
Rivered future. Rivered future.
I think I like that better, adding a little bit of a slide there.
Honey rivered future. Honey rivered future, they are. Honey rivered future, they are so ill said. 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 Logging on another, stay inside. Stay inside. On another, stay inside your. On another, stay inside your.
Hello, Francisco.
Headset. Plug in.
I can't say I'm really doing a whole lot of productive at the moment. I'm just working on some vocal tuning, and we'll go back and look at this later to see how this scaling ends up looking. If you got any commentary on how it looks or sounds at the moment, feel free to speak up. I think I may be having some bandwidth issues at the moment as well.
Plug in. Disconnect. You love it. It's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same ball and the same ball and the same ball and blockchain.
Alright, so that's got me through the first verse and chorus. Let's take a look and listen to what we got. Some of the guitars that you hear in here, let's see, Francisco, you're asking about the guitars. It was tracked through a quad cortex, I think it's what it's called, and he also had a split path to run his guitar through an octaver for the bass. I didn't really like the way that the bass was sounding that way because there was a lot of mechanical noise from the pitch shifting, so he went back and actually retracked from a bass 6 at home, and that gave me something sounding more like this. And that to my ear sounds a lot better than what we did have, which was this. It's just kind of mechanical and noisy. I've kept those tracks there, but I've got it muted. Also with the guitars, I think we did, if I recall, 8 passes. Yeah, I've got 8 different takes here, and I haven't finished comping yet. I started on that earlier today, and then I got caught up on silly things like what's going on with these streams. So I'll probably finish my comping a bit later, either this afternoon or possibly tomorrow. And I'm also playing around with these vocals. The vocals are not bad at all, but Colton actually was asking if I could do a little bit of pitch correction, so I'm trying that now. Let's move on to this next verse and see what we can do with it.
You love it, it's the rain. It feels like,
Oops.
it's like something, but it's just the same ball and blockchain. Wasting all the precious.
I heard a few things in there that I think are probably artifacts from the tuning that I wasn't really liking. Of course, I haven't actually done this part yet, so it's just whatever it had natively.
Wasting all the wasting all the precious.
It's a little too aggressive, I think, at that part.
Wasting all the precious in it.
I like to have actually, well, I guess if I'm honest, I don't really like tuning stuff at all. I definitely prefer to have a more natural voice, so I'm adding back a little bit of waver in some of these.
Wasting all the precious energy. Wasting all the precious energy you claim to save. How can we get how can we get out of
Okay, there was a definite audible sharp note there. I'll fix that.
how can we get out of shackles?
And I think maybe this should be... I really need to have a keyboard or something here where I can find the right notes. I'm just guessing at them based on what I can see.
How can we get out of shackles when they're how can we get out of shackles when they're pain?
Yeah, I think the grit that he had in his voice there is kind of throwing this for a loop a bit, so I'll reduce the correction amount there so it doesn't try quite so hard.
Get out of shackles when they're
Yeah, that's good there.
get out of shackles when they're paid to play. Get out of shackles when they're paid to
Something strange going on right in there.
get out of shackles when they're paid.
I think maybe I'll just try reducing the correction amount a bit, or maybe move that one up a bit. Allow it a little bit longer for transition and make it a little less tight.
Shackles when they're shackles when they're paid to play.
Sounds better.
Shackles when they're paid to play. Shackles when they're paid to play.
The space feeling, I've done it a couple of different ways. I was using RIA delay and just panning it hard left and right with 2 different taps and 2 different delay amounts, but what I've actually got going on it now is a plugin that I just got off the IK Multimedia group buy, which this is the, what is this called? Fame Studio Reverb. I just got it yesterday, so I'm not quite used to it yet. I'll blow it up, so hopefully it's a little bit easier to see on the 1440 thing. But here's what that sounds like.
The shackles when they're paid to play.
And of course blended in with the original vocals.
The shackles when they're paid to play.
You know, Cosmic, that group buy, I bought, what did I buy? I don't even remember what I bought. I've gotten bad about buying plugins just because they're on sale, and then I'll use it and forget that I have it. Whereas a smarter me would just get the demo and try it and see if it's even useful. I think I got the Lursen Mastering Suite, and then I went to add that Joe, whatever the last name is, channel strip, vocal strip it's called, and that was $10 more than what I bought, so I couldn't get it. A smarter me, again, would have bought the Joe, whatever his name is, vocal strip for $159, and then I could have gotten everything else, but I already own most of what IK Multimedia puts out anyways. I've kind of been playing with the IK Multimedia stuff and comparing it to Plugin Alliance, because I don't know if you guys have seen my video about Plugin Alliance and some of the problems that I've had with them and how slow they are to load. And I'm really impressed with the IKM stuff. I think I may have replaced all of my Plugin Alliance stuff in this project. I'm looking through it just to be sure. Well, I say that I replaced it, but yet I'm using Crispy Tuner. I do like Crispy Tuner, and I've also got this Lindell de-esser. I like all of the Plugin Alliance stuff that I've got for the most part. It's just that if I load up a project with them, it takes forever for the project to load because there is such a significant pause for every instance of a Plugin Alliance plugin. The IKM stuff sounds really good. The only issue that I'm having with them, and I think it may be, it may have something to do with 4K and scaling, but sometimes I have to close and reopen the plugin multiple times in order to get it to show up completely. If and when it does load, I like the fact that they scale pretty well. I mean, you can go too small, then it has problems, but, well, actually, I guess you can see the problem right there. I scaled it, and now I've got part of it chopped off, so I'll close this and open it back up again, and now it's showing up. So I guess that, I don't know why it does it. Like I say, I think it's just a 4K and scaling problem. It seems that while 4K is fantastic, there's not much of a standard for scaling, so a lot of programs will have issues, and you just have to try to work around them. I'm curious, Cosmic, what was the deal with the vocal strip? Did you test drive it and find it didn't work out that well? I ended up getting some mastering tools and some different EQs and channel strips. I really do like the channel strips. I was comparing these to the ones that I had in Plugin Alliance, and of course with IKM, they've only got what they call the British channel and the white channel, and both of which are, I think, different variations of the SSL channel. I really like that AMEK or AMEK or whatever that thing is that Plugin Alliance has. I just got that like a couple of weeks ago, but I have kind of enjoyed this transition over to some of the IKM tools, and I'm really enjoying learning the different sounds that they can produce and the characteristics that they have. I also picked up Loch Ness, which is currently on sale from Tone Empire. I'm pretty sure everything that they've got right now is on sale for $29.99. And this thing sounds fantastic. It's very similar to Devil Lock from Sound Toys, but it gives you a lot more options. Just to hear that by itself, it sounds something like this. Let me see what I've got routed to it first. I've just got the drum shells routed through this to add some saturation. I'll turn this up for a second so you can hear it a bit better. And without, it sounds like this. Kind of quiet and distant. But that really helps to saturate it and glue it together and bring it a little bit more forward and add some punch. Now that was interesting right there at the beginning of that verse. It felt like it missed a little something. Yeah, it really does. Adding that extra saturation in there and blending it in parallel with with the main drums, it makes a significant difference. Let me go back and let's focus on that for just a second. So here is the drums without the drum crush bus. And if you guys were not aware, these are all live drums. There's no samples being used in this. It was just recorded here in this room. It's not my drum kit though. I think this was an SJC kit. So here's the kit. And I'll add the crush bus in. May not be able to tell much, so let me turn it up a bit there. If I get it too far up, that snare ends up jumping out of the speakers practically. So it's kind of subtle just to add a little bit of something to the drums. I have a little bit of trouble with this thing in that it likes to lose focus sometimes, and I have to stop the transport and click just anywhere in this arrange view or whatever it's called to make it catch up. Wasting all the precious energy you claim to save. How can we get out of shackles when they're paid to play? May take up. Let's see, that's about halfway through. May take up. Sounds like that was a bit sharp. Yeah, half of it was sharp. His voice reminds me a lot of whatever the singer's name is from Helmet. Kind of like the guy from Helmet with a little bit of whatever the singer's name is. I don't know the singer's name. But I like it. I like his voice naturally. Before you trip on your pride. Do I use mix bus processing? I guess the short version is yes. It depends on how granular you wanna go on that question. Like I've got my guitars and my bass piped into a strings bus, and I am using some bus compression for that to help glue them together. I've got bus compression on my vocals, which is this was single tracked vocals, so I'm kind of doing a little bit of glue with the parallel compression that I did, and also the reverb. And I've got a special effect that I created on this part here in the bridge. That's all being processed through, what am I saying? Through bus compression. Of course, the drums are being processed in a bus, and then I've got this pre-mastered channel that I created, which has a handful of things on it. I've got it all running to tape saturation, mastering EQ, more bus compression, and a couple more mastering plugins to just help glue things together and bring up the volume a bit. It's not too terribly different with and without. Like if I turn off my mastering processing, it sounds like this. And engaged. I think that the processing that I'm doing at the bus level is gluing the things together. Of course, I'm adding some EQ to help shape the overall sound in addition to the EQ that I'm doing on the individuals, and adding saturation through some of the different plugins there. I hope that I answered that and didn't dodge the question. Heard a glitch there that I need to fix on the guitars, but that's going to be for later. Sometimes I'm terrible at answering these questions because I'm not sure I'm maybe reading too much or not enough into the question. So. Yeah, subtle is good. I mean, ideally, I would say that you should be doing a lot of your heavy lifting, yes, at the bus level, but in individual buses. Like, I want to do some processing. Let me close this for a sec. Like, on my guitars, I have got the channel strip, and I'm also running re-xcomp to help shave off some of the low end when there's palm muting. And I'm not doing a whole lot of compression on here, I don't think. Yeah, it's. I mean, you're not even really seeing it hit the compression gain reduction meter on here. It's probably doing a very small amount. I am using this for a gate to help, actually more of an expander to help turn down the guitars a bit when he's not playing. There's a lot of reverb that's baked into one of the guitar tracks, and I want to make sure that some of these gaps are a little bit cleaner than they are without. And then looking at the strings bus as a whole, let's see how much compression we're doing there. I'd say 1 to 2 dB on that. And then I'm doing some saturation. And I'm using that somewhat as glue and also to add some harmonics and some kind of oddball distortion pleasantness or whatever you want to call it. And then I've got TDR Nova, which I've got my kick drum sidechained to this. If you'll watch this band 1 here, it's listening to the kick drum and is ducking around 74 hertz just to help that kick to cut through a little bit. I had some trouble with the kick on this. The kick wasn't ported, so I got a whole lot of low end and not a lot of punch. I don't want to use a sample. I tried adding my own kick drum in to supplement it, but just wanted to see if I could try to fix it without resorting to samples. And it still could use a little bit of work, but this is definitely helping if you watch this duck as the kick hits. Of course, visually that's going to seem like it's coming in at the wrong time, but that's just because of the delay compensation of the plugins. It's working in real time or when it needs to, but the visual is a little bit misleading. As far as the vocals, I've got a lot of compression going on the vocal chain. I'm going through the tuner first, then to this de-esser. The red over here on the right side that you see moving to the left, that's how much of the S sounds, plosives, are being removed. Then I'm going into the British channel, which is an SSL 4000, I believe. Got some pretty significant compression going on here. It looks like 3 to 6 dB of compression there. Then I'm going into an 1176 style compressor. And getting near 10 dB of gain reduction there. Then going into an LA2A style compressor. And then finally running into Black Rooster's Magnetite to add more tape saturation, which of course will add some gentle compression as well. See, Samuel, you're asking, does T-Rex use a lot of CPU? Let's find out. I'm still pretty new to these. I've owned some of their plugins since last year's group buy, but I've barely used them. And I bought some more on this most recent group buy. And let's see, where is my process performance meter? Get this over here on the correct screen, and I have no clue if you can see this because of the display scaling, but I've got 45 different effects currently in use, most of which are T-Rex plugins, and I'm currently using roughly 13 to 14% CPU. I'll go ahead and actually start playing this, and let's see if this changes any. I would say no, because even sitting idle versus playing, it still held steady between 14 to 15% CPU. And again, that's with 45 different effects running. I'm not sure if that's counting what I've got in my monitor effects, which is Restream. Restream is being used to send Reaper to OBS, and then I've got Morphit by Tone Boosters for headphone correction, so I don't have to have the speakers feedback into the microphone. But yeah, this is pretty lightweight, I would say. Actually, let me pull that back up here and performance meter. I can see CPU use per track, and my pre-master track is the heaviest. That's got 5 plugins, and it's running between 3 and 4%. My vocals track has 6 plugins on it, but it's using about 1.5 CPU. I think the biggest difference is, like, on the pre-master track, I've got this tape plugin, which from what I've been told can be a little bit heavy. But compared to some of the other stuff I've used, this all seems pretty lightweight. I mean, it's not choking the system at all. Let's see if we can finish this verse and get through this. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this part here. I think I want to cut this and shift this note down and see how that sounds. Nope. Let's try slurring it up. I don't like either of those. I don't like that. I think I like it there, and maybe I'll just reduce the correction. Make it a little less tight. I think that sounds pretty good. I mean, maybe reduce the correction amount. I've never used Melodyne, so I don't really have anything to compare Crispy Tune to other than Reatune, but I really like it. Other than this issue of it sometimes moving and sometimes not. I think I understand what it's doing, is it's wanting to help me to stay focused on what I was working on. So for this to keep tracking where the playhead is, I have to explicitly click somewhere and allow it. How long can we keep this up? I like how easy it is to make these adjustments. Like here we can see that it has split these notes, and I can draw a box around each of them. Find the note that I want these all to be and press the letter G for glue, and I've glued those all to the same note. Of course, I can still go back and move them individually, but I don't know, the ease of editing with these keyboard shortcuts that it took me a little bit to memorize is pretty intuitive once you get the hang of it. Let's see, like right here, something is wrong, but I gotta figure out what. Okay, I think all these should be whatever note this is. I think that's a C. Yep, that got it. Widen my window a bit and look at this next section. Now this one's probably going to cause some issues just because of the raspiness in the voice, but we'll see what we can do. Let's see, that is... Actually, let me undo that and listen to what it sounded like before. think I'll just remove the correction from this note and maybe glue these together. Nope, don't like that. I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's see, if I take the correction down completely for that and the next little bit. That's good. I almost want to take this up a half step, but I don't know if it's gonna end up messing it up or what. Let's see what it sounds like. It's like I can't seem to shorten that. I guess I could cut it. Yeah. Remove the correction on that and see what it sounds like. I'm going to undo all that and just leave that alone. Sometimes that's the best answer, just leave it alone. That's much better, just natural. Let's see, it's towards the end of the chorus. Yeah, that's another one of those where he had the a bit of raspiness in his voice, and you can see it's not properly detecting the notes. Let me delete these and let it reanalyze and see if it makes a difference. It's interesting. It seems like it actually got a better track that time. Let me see if I can get all of these up to the same pitch without it sounding too glitchy. Pretty good. Let me go back and hear that chorus, then we can check the bridge. Did that wrong. Try that. Everything is heavy. And we could definitely tell that this next segment we had a note that was quite sharp. So let's try that.
Everything is heavier, stuck in the crowd. Things are getting fast. Things are getting fast. Things are getting. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Things are getting faster, faster, faster.
I kind of like how that starts to get a little bit chaotic there towards the end.
Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Everything is heavier, stuck in the crowd. Stuck in the crowd.
No, that is his name is Colton Hunt, and the band is called Kinda Mad. If you check the last handful of live streams, I was doing drum editing for them, and also I think maybe 2 or 3 streams ago we were actually tracking the guitar for this.
Stuck in the crowd.
I don't like that. That is a little too much tuning.
Stuck in the crowd. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Things are getting faster, 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 faster.
I may address a couple of these. See what that sounds like a half step lower. Not sure if I like that yet, but doesn't hurt to try. I think I do.
Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Everything is heavier. Stuck in the crowd.
That part where he says things are getting faster, I'm slowing down, I made that effect by just cutting out a section of the main vocal. Oops. And I'm starting to get my keyboard shortcuts mixed up between this and DaVinci Resolve, but I took that section that's literally right above this and I changed the play rate to about 80%, and you can see I've added a high pass filter that changes over time, and I've also automated the pitch over time, and that effect sounds like this.
I'm slowing down.
And I've also got a pan automation. I was playing around with this plugin from Freak Show Industries called Maybe I Shouldn't Have Built You, but I wasn't sure that I liked the effect that I was getting from it. We may be able to get some interesting sounds out of it though. Got a lot of interesting looking plugins, all of which are, well, let me show you, because this is hilarious. Oh, that's not ready yet. That is an interesting name for a plugin. But I've got this. That was the one that we just heard. Maybe that stands for Maybe I Shouldn't Have Built You. Backmask is quite impressive, and Dumpster, well, let's take a look at them. Maybe we can find some cool sounds to put in here. So we'll go ahead and sort by developer and take a look at Freak Show Industries. And let's take a look at Dumpster Fire. Now, the interface on all of their plugins, generally speaking, makes no sense whatsoever. But if I click this eyeball icon, it tells me a little bit. Like this one, I'm not sure if you can see it, but this one says Cage, and the description says, Susie is a 4-year-old girl who sets the number of bands like the bad factory man tells her to. This is causing trouble for the other children. Now the factory is a big mess. Can you make a mess too? What happens when you make a mess? So let's turn this knob and see what it does. Actually, I'm going to set a time selection over this piece, repeat it, and play with this effect. That's kind of neat. I'll turn that off and let's take a quick look at Backmask. I've used this one in the past, and it's just as confusing of an interface as all their other plugins, but it makes some interesting sounds. I think I may like that. Let's hear that in context. And I want to put that in front of the delay. I'm just using Leet Delay 2 from Sonic Anomaly. I like the ping pong that it does. I'm slowing down. Forgot to turn off repeat. Let's add a little bit more of that in. I'm slowing down. Everything is heavier. I'll leave that for now. Stuck in the crowd. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Things are getting faster, 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 faster. What do you think about stepping these up a half step as we go? That might be interesting. Nope, don't like it. Alright, we got one more chorus to tune up, and listen to work in progress. Is that the right note? Yep, that was the right note. Maybe this part just needs to go down sooner. It feels like something, but it's just the same. It feels like something, but it's just the same falling blockchain. Falling blockchain. Not familiar with Rapid Composer. Falling blockchain. think that I've got the vocals tuned up pretty good. Let's take a quick listen to this from the beginning. And I've still got a bit more work to do on this with EQ and probably some automation as well. I definitely need to go through and finish doing comping of the guitars. You can see that's mostly one take for the rest of the guitars, and I've got several to pick from, and I definitely want to make sure that I use the best one. But, so from the beginning, here's work in progress on this. Okay, I heard something there that I want to address now because I'll probably forget it later.
How can we get out of shackles when they're paid to play? May take a few steps back before you trip on.
Right there. That's definitely going to need to have a different take on the guitars because that note was flubbed pretty bad. Fun part's going to be separating this out to find it. Right there. So I think what I will do is turn on my snapping and I'll grab, let's see, I'll grab measure 51. And I've got my left and right guitars grouped because this literally was one performance but split through two different paths on the quad cortex. So I will turn on my automatic crossfades on splits. And that should, yeah, that's got me some crossfades on both sides. And if you can see that, I've got both my guitar left and right selected. I'm going to increase the size on that to where we can see it a whole lot better. You're right, it is very difficult to work with this because like we didn't capture any DI, which I probably should have, but it was just, I'd never worked with a quad cortex before and it was just a lot to get things hooked up in the first place. So I've got my 8 takes and I'm going to pick a different one here for that section. Let's try this one. That one sounds fantastic. I'll probably need to move my crossfades, and of course, like I said, I've still got some more work to do on these anyway, with making sure that my gaps are correct and that this that the what's the word I'm looking for, that the transients are starting at the right point. I'm not really meticulous about this, like if I were doing death metal or something like that. Instead of looking at it and making sure that the transient lines up visually, I just kind of listen for anything that sticks out as being out of place, and that part stuck out as being out of place, which is why I stopped to address it. And that sounds great to me. You can't even tell that that an edit was made, but that's like I enabled the split on crossfade. I got that backwards, sorry. Crossfade on split to help make sure that that transition from one take into the other is as smooth as it could be. Now I'm going to look at it and try to get these waveforms as close to correct as possible, but sometimes you just gotta listen to stuff and quit worrying about it, so let's do that.
Wasting all the precious energy you claim to save. How can we get out of shackles when they're paid to play? May take a few steps back before you trip on your pride. How long can we keep this up before we find out you lied? Plug in, disconnect. You love it, it's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same ball and blockchain.
Now, I hear some places in there where the vocal is a little bit early or late. I'll probably go back and fix that later. Don't know if you heard it as well, but I figured I'd just make a note of it, and that way when I go back and review this video, I'll remember that I need to go back and look at that.
Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Everything is heavier. Stuck in the crowd. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Things are getting faster, 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 faster. Plug in, disconnect. You love it, it's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same ball and blockchain.
All right, so Cubase, to expand on that thought, if I were to be pleased with what I'm doing, I would say, depending on the material, anywhere from 2 to 8 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I have a tendency to start over a lot because I start messing with plugins and lose sight of what I'm actually supposed to be doing. And you'll notice I've got 40-something plugins on here, but at the same time, if you can see across these tracks, a lot of them don't really have anything on there. I'm trying to get to a point to where I do a lot more top-down mixing and start working more with buses, and then only putting plugins on individual tracks if I need to do so to fix problems. It's really easy to get caught up in the idea of owning and using a ton of plugins because you see, people in different groups that are pushing plugins, and what we have to remember is that yes, a lot of them make cool sounds, but their ultimate job is to fix problems. So if there's not something that needs to be fixed, there's no point throwing a whole bunch of plugins on a project just so you can say you did, if that makes any sense. But I said all that to say the overabundance of plugins is probably my biggest enemy. I love collecting them. I love that I'm at a point in my life to where if I want one, I can generally just buy it. But most of them I actually don't need, and they become things that I quickly forget. So I end up going back to the same small handful of plugins. I've got a lot more on here as far as variety than what I would usually use, but that's because I'm trying out all this IK multimedia stuff, and I think I have found a handful of things that I really like. I bought I'll show it here for a moment. It's the Larson, if I can spell it right, mastering console. And this thing is really nice. Let's just try something. I'm going to turn off all the others that I have on my mastering chain here. Actually, I think I'll still leave let's just turn them all off. And take a listen to just the Larson mastering console. This is not pop rock, or is it? What is this? I'm just going to pick one of these styles at random. We'll pick pop rock warmer, and let's see what it does.
Getting faster. I'm slow. Wasting all the precious energy you claim.
So what I'd like to do is take that, and then I'll switch back and forth A/B between the mastering chain that I already had, plus this random borderline preset that I just picked.
Wasting all the precious energy you
actually like what I've done with these individuals a lot better, but I also have to consider that I've changed nothing in here other than just picking a style. There are no presets in this. There's just different styles that will, it's kind of like a preset, but not exactly. Like if I go and pick jazz, for example, and then click on this icon up here, this has added a tube limiter in here that I have no control over. There's a handful of these things in here that are just kind of like presets that, from what they say in the documentation, is Lurson's secret sauce, so they don't give you any adjustments. But as you choose these different styles, you can see sometimes it takes away or adds different tools. But the primary ones that you've got controls over are the EQ, this push parameter that will turn up or down the EQs, what is the word, proportional to each other. So if I push that, you can see those are all going up together. Your input drive is linked, or you can unlink them and turn up or down your left and right sides independent of each other. And what's interesting about that is you can put them in different places and then relink them, and they stay in that same orientation. So you have to be sure to reset them back to 0 if you actually, or put them on the same thing if you actually want them to be linked. But let me grab all these again to where I can toggle them. So here is with my own mastering chain.
Wasting all the precious energy you claim to save. How can we get out of shackles when they're paid to play? May take a few steps back before you trip on your pride. How long can we keep this up before we
Switching
find
back to
out
mine.
you lied? Plug in, disconnect. You love it, it's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same.
Curious, Cubase Junkie, which one do you think sounds more modern versus vintage? I'm going to remove that and just switch back to my own. I'm almost hoping that you'll say that mine sounded more vintage. I feel like I shun so many modern production standards because I just like the sound of older music.
The same ball and blockchain. Wasting all the precious energy you claim to save. How can we get out of shackles when they're paid to play? May take a few steps back before you trip on your pride. How long can we keep this up before we find out you lied? Plug in, disconnect. You love it, it's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same ball and blockchain. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Everything is heavier. Stuck in the crowd. Things are getting faster. I'm slowing down. Things are getting faster, 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 faster. Plug in, disconnect. You love it, it's a wreck. It feels like something, but it's just the same ball and blockchain.
All right, well, that is the song in progress. I don't know, at the rate I'm going, I will probably have this finished at some point this week. I've just kind of been messing with it a little bit at a time in between work and a little bit in the evenings, and really taking my time with it. I really think about all that's left on this is I definitely want to go back through with a fine-tooth comb and triple check the tuning. There's some places where I feel like it's been too aggressive and is causing some glitches, and there's a little bit of automation need in here to help make sure that there's some differences in between the sections. If I look at the loudness meter, it looks like I'm at about minus 9.6 lufs, however you say that, average across that track, which I guess is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, you can always turn it up or turn it down or something. And I don't guess I have a whole lot more to say about it. So, with that said, thank you guys and girls for tuning in to yet another in a long series of completely unplanned and random live stream hangouts. And let's do this again sometime. It is about dinner time for me, so I'm going to check out and we will catch up with you folks later. Till next time.